Whoa. Hello, everybody. It's me. It's Ash. It's always Ash. Well, that's not necessarily true, but you know, it's me. I hope everybody's doing well. And also, if I'm way louder than usual, I apologize. I actually kind of fiddled with the audio because I noticed in a lot of my streams I'm kind of hard to hear sometimes. You know, usually, at least on my computers, I have to crank up the volume like to way past normal. Hey, Vinny, what's up? Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to, I don't want to yap on too much. I came here to show you all the footage of my grandma at the door. Me and my grandma talking. It's long. It's about 24-ish minutes, 24 minutes and some change. And part of the reason I'm showing it on here is because I tried audio engineering it on my computer, and I only was able to crank up the volume. Like, I tried messing with the noise gates a bunch to try to suppress any background noise, and it was garbage. I'm not an actual, like, legit audio engineer. I'm a hobbyist, so I did my best, and it wasn't good enough. So what I did was I just cranked up the volume and rendered it and stuck it over here, so on this other computer, so that I can play it for you here, because this streaming software that I use has actually really, really good noise suppression. So after testing it, I realized it's going to sound way better on here if I just stream it. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and stream it, and after this stream is over, I will be sure to pin the comment with the timestamp in case you just want to skip this part where I'm talking and just go straight to the video. Alright, here we go. Let's see here. Where is it? Where's the video? Oh, there it is. I know how to do things. Alright, I'm going to mute myself.
Can you see this? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
So this is going to be Asher crashing Grandma's house, take one.
Let's hope it's the only take.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let me just get my crap set up here. Okay, why can't I do this? Alright, and away I go. Come on.
What are you doing with the phone?
I'm turning it on as my backup.
Oh, let's do it again then.
Oh.
You get too much futzing.
Too much. Okay, alright.
Too much futzing with the phone.
Alright.
We want you like literally when I stop, get out of the car.
You got it. Alright. And away I go.
Forward a little bit. Can you forward a little bit?
Is that better?
When you stop, can you make it a slower stop?
Yeah, I will. I was like, there was a lot going on. Asher was fun futzing. I was getting nuts.
Sorry. Oh shit, that's my grandma's garage opening. That's fantastic. Oh, fuck a...
What should I do? Pull up?
I don't know. Should I go out? Should I just do it?
Yeah, just do it. Ready? Here, I'm going to pull up. You
All
rolling?
All right, yeah, let's go.
All right, hold on.
Let's fucking do it. Fuck, she's right there. Fuck. Okay, that's cool.
You like that?
Yeah. All right.
Go.
Around the trash can?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Later.
No panic. No panic anyway. Okay, guys, this is it. It's been over a year since I've seen my grandma. Let's hope that she's not super angry at me for being a piece of crap. No, I'm just kidding. For being apostate. Come on, Mom. Answer the door. Mom! It's me! Oh, shit. Ooh. It's me. Hi. Mom? It's me. Me. You don't recognize me?
Oh.
Mom, hi. Hi. Can I have a hug?
Huh?
Can I have a hug? Mom, it's been like a year since I've seen you.
Why are you doing that to yourself?
Doing what? Hugging you?
No, to
Doing what?
your haircut and all that.
You don't like my hair? You mean longer? Like girlier?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mom. I just haven't seen you in forever, and I am worried about you. I've heard you're not doing well. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't. Uncle Ruben said you're not doing so well.
Well, I got dementia, but I'm okay.
They put you on medicine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, that's good. I was worried about that because, like I've heard, dementia can progress really fast.
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're doing okay, Mom. Is everything else okay?
Mm-hmm.
Chandler, my nephew.
I haven't seen them.
You haven't seen her?
Well, not lately, but
You haven't seen
they go to meetings.
what's his name?
Sometimes.
The little boy. What is his
Liam?
Liam. That's right. He seemed kind of like the Batman character guy.
Yeah. I haven't seen Adam.
Oh, how everything's changed.
Yeah.
Well, you don't stop by anywhere at Adam's house? I can't
They
believe
don't want me to. I don't know. So, nobody does. We'll see what Jehovah has to say about that. He's grown up, right?
Adam? He's 12. He's big. He's a big boy, Mom.
Yeah, I bet.
He's starting to get a deep voice and everything.
I bet.
Actually, yeah. There's been some stuff I wanted to ask you, like, about my mom. Like, about when she died and stuff. Did it hurt, like, a lot? When you had to make that choice? Was it hard?
She chose.
She chose.
She chose.
I thought it was you that.
No,
That's what it says in the medical records, though, that you chose.
No. Remember, I gave you that paper where a nurse was going I gave you that paper where it says that if she didn't take the blood transfusion, she was going to die. And she said, so be it. You have those papers.
Yeah, but then they left the decision to you after that.
No, they tried to make me. I said I can't go against anything she said. And then, remember, you were there. Diana and I went in there, and a doctor was hung a bottle of blood to transfuse her against her will.
He did?
And a nurse, when we got there, she said, guess what? I busted the doctor trying to transfuse your daughter. And I stopped him. I brought the papers and I said, so be it. And I showed him, and he ran out and quit on her.
Is that in the medical records?
No. Ask Diane.
I mean, I have a copy of them somewhere, so I can like check. But I could have sworn it said that you made the final decision, Mom.
No.
But
they asked me, but no. I said I have to abide by what she said, and actually I'm happy to make the right decision.
It didn't hurt.
No,
it didn't hurt you to do that.
No, honey.
Not at all.
That's what she wanted. No, because I know
But
that
Mom-
you'll be resurrected.
Yeah, but she wasn't even a practicing Jehovah's Witness at the time.
It doesn't matter. She made a good choice, and I'm so happy because she made such a. It doesn't. It matters at the moment you die. What your she changed at the moment that before she
So
died.
like you can make a
Yes.
deathbed change.
Yes.
Jehovah cares. Like if you
Yes.
at the last second decide
Yes.
after living a whole horrible life.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So you mean even if I were to make
Yes.
the choice at the end,
Of course.
he wouldn't get mad?
Not right before Armageddon. Yeah. Right now is
So
the
as
opportunity.
long as I'm not in Armageddon in the middle of it,
Uh-huh.
he'll be okay with it.
Up to the tribulation. Yes.
What
There's right now is a chance.
What
Yes,
if,
ma'am.
what if I've already started to do things to myself? Like,
Well, it doesn't matter. You know what? I actually discussed it with an elder.
about what?
About you. I said, oh, I can't believe Matt did that.
Did what?
A sex change.
Oh, you. Who told you that I got a sex change?
Well, it went online. You went online. You
That I
took a
got
picture
that I got a
of
sex.
yourself.
That I got a sex change.
Well, that you wanted to be a guy and you changed your name. You
Says
had
who?
your breast removed.
Oh no, I didn't have my breasts removed. They're still there. You want, not that you want to see them, but they're still there. It's just a very tight shirt.
Okay.
That's all.
Oh well.
Nothing's been removed.
That you changed that. And I said.
I'm on
"It's
testosterone.
terrible."
I've been taking testosterone for
Okay.
6 months.
Okay.
That's why my voice is a little deeper
Uh-huh.
than you probably remember.
And I said, oh, all the things she's done. And he said, she can change.
There's still a possibility.
Oh, of course. And he said, don't judge her.
You know what? Actually, I remember seeing because
Don't judge her.
I still
He
keep
got
up.
angry at me.
I still keep up with all the Jehovah's Witness stuff, Mom, and I swear I saw a talk where an elder was talking about
Yes.
that there was a transsexual guy.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
he went to change to a girl,
Uh-huh.
and then he changed back to a man and became an elder.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know they could do that. I thought that they weren't allowed. Wow.
Jehovah's very forgiving. He's merciful. What we do when we...
In the critical time.
Yes, in the last moments. Yes. Look at all my life. What I've done. Horrible.
You didn't do that.
Oh,
You were just, you had a little touch of alcoholism. Just
alcohol.
sorry, bugs.
I had other affairs. You know that.
Well, yeah.
Several marriages. Okay. A lot of
Bible
bad
student
things.
guy.
And you know what? And I know that Jehovah forgave me.
Why did you think that was unforgivable? What you did with the Bible student? Because that's just a
Because
Bible
Because Satan wants you to think that way so that you stay away.
Well,
And
why
until
didn't you
I
listen
heard
to
a
me
talk,
why didn't you listen to me when I was trying to get you to come back?
and when I heard this talk, if Jehovah sees something in your heart and he provides a way, and I heard that talk and I changed right then and there. I said, I can't forgive. I can be forgiven.
Just out of curiosity, how did you even know that I was on testosterone? Like,
Well, Facebook and all that.
you can see my Facebook?
No, they tell me Jordan or
Oh.
Chandler or
Oh, Chandler's on my
whatever.
Facebook? I thought
I
he
don't
got
know.
rid of me.
I don't know. I don't know.
miss him. I miss my brother a lot.
I don't know from Diane's side. That's what I've heard.
Okay. Well, Amber doesn't talk to me anymore. I'm assuming probably because of everything. I don't know.
Today we
Is she
had-
studying?
Amber? No, she didn't.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. She's been living with that dude for quite a while, but she got rid of me after I started crashing Kingdom Halls. I don't know. I figure it might have something to do with that.
She isn't not a witness or anything, but she doesn't appreciate that.
Oh, she said so?
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Oh, well, she never told me that directly. In
No.
fact, I wished her a happy birthday recently, and she said, "Oh, thank you. How are the kids doing?"
Well, yeah. She's not a witness. No, she's not a witness. Never studied.
I'm just confused by that. Like, why would you follow that if you don't really
She
follow
just
it?
doesn't. She doesn't follow.
Well, I mean, but she seems offended by it regardless.
Well,
which is
because
kind of weird.
anybody would.
Would you be offended for the Catholics if somebody went in their church?
Yes.
But you don't like
My
the Catholics.
goodness.
You know they're a bunch of
I
pedophile
love them.
protectors.
I go and try to preach to them. Right now, I was like, talking to this guy that he's not an elder. He has some title. I forget.
Is there a meeting tonight? I'm sorry.
Well,
I do.
I do. Because of the CEO is coming.
The CEO is coming. Is that at every Kingdom Hall right now, or what?
No, just mine.
Oh, okay. Well, don't worry, I won't be there. I'm sorry, but I was gonna ask, like,
What that's
did you ever like? I mean, I know that I tried like a long time ago to ask you about some stuff. Did you ever look into that?
Look, no, because Satan wants us to look into apostasy, and I'm not going to.
Well,
And
it's not apostasy. What about children that get molested?
Okay,
That happens.
I'm
You know
going
that,
to have
right?
to say goodbye. I'm not going to listen. Nothing against the organization.
It's not against the organization. It's against child molesters.
Okay, well, I'm not. I
You wouldn't want child molesters in the organization, right?
That's it, Diane. We just stopped the conversation. I can't talk about it anymore.
Mom, you wouldn't want child molesters in there, right?
No, they're not allowed. Don't worry.
Mom,
Don't worry. Jehovah's the
But
judge.
the 2-witness rule, Mom. They tell them they can't.
Jehovah's the judge.
I know he's the judge,
Okay, well then don't worry about it.
So then the children have to suffer now?
Don't worry about it. Jehovah takes care of matters. Jesus is in charge, actually.
What about
So
the people
don't worry.
that kill themselves because their family doesn't talk to them
Well,
anymore? That happens.
Then they can change. They can change. Like Daniel was to commit suicide. Maybe
Uncle D? No way.
He's disfellowship.
He's
been
disfellowshipped?
2 years.
I didn't know.
He doesn't live with me.
I didn't know.
He moved.
I thought he was
because
still...
out of respect, so that
he moved
we
out
could
of
move.
respect.
Out of respect, so that they could still meet here in my house.
Understood.
And that's I respect him for that. And if he comes back to Jehovah, I love him. I still do love him. Of course I love him. He's my son. Very much.
I have one last tiny question. It has nothing to do with child molestation. It's the, how do you reconcile, like, you know how they changed the blood doctrine, like, a couple of times? Like, first it was you can't have any, and then they changed to fractions.
No. I don't do fractions.
No, I know you
choice.
don't. I know you don't. But, like, I'm saying, some people, theoretically, they could have been saved, right? They could have lived.
If their conscience doesn't bother them, it would bother me. A fraction would bother me.
It would?
Mm-hmm.
Even if
but that's a personal choice.
Even like a blood sausage would bother you, right?
Oh my goodness. That's pretty disgusting.
Well, no, I just figured I'd ask.
Disgusting.
No, I was just curious.
No.
Is there any chance that you would ever, like, study with me again? Ever? I mean, do you love me, Mom?
Yes, I do.
I want to believe that you love and care about me. I really do. And I care about you. That's the thing. Like, I still love you so much, Mom. Nothing that you have ever said or done to me has made me change the way that I feel about you. I love you. I care about you so much. And I would never ever want to see anything bad happen to you.
I love you.
And you know that,
Danny
right?
too. Yes.
You know I would never want to see anything bad happen to you, right?
I love you too. And I love Danny too.
Of course.
But if you need somebody to study, they'll be glad to.
You don't want to study with me.
I cannot.
Because
I wouldn't even study with Danny.
Really?
He would go to an elder and ask them to study.
Is there like a logical
Well, it's
reason?
yes, family. It's better just.
Well, you studied with me for a little bit when I was 26.
Yeah.
And then you got rid of me because you didn't like that. It wasn't that good of a study.
I gave it to Cindy.
Yeah, that was a bad choice. She was mean.
No, it was a good choice.
She was a bad choice. She was a little.
No, she's a good sister. I still see her.
She's got some horns on her.
She's in Florida, but
you used to say that she would bug you during service.
She's come and visit me, and I love her.
Oh, that's good that you have a community.
And we actually
every
Monday we read a chapter together.
Really? Mm-hmm. What are they studying right now? The book.
We're doing the Pure Worship. That brand new book. It's awesome. I'm just like 15 minutes away from hearing the whole thing.
Didn't they give didn't they make a new governing body member recently? Mm-hmm. What's his name again? Kenneth Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I have been paying attention. Anyway, I just wanted to say goodbye and that I love you very much. And I'm glad you're not slamming the door on me this time at least.
No, but I do believe that Jehovah will. If there's anything wrong, he's not blind. Nobody can pull him.
So it doesn't matter if people are suffering right now.
And
it doesn't matter if people are suffering right now.
It hurts him very dearly.
It hurts him
very dearly.
So why doesn't he just stop?
If he has an appointed time. The appointed time is Armageddon. Appointed time is Armageddon. He is going to undo everything that Satan has done bad.
But it's okay with you. It's okay with you that in the meantime,
whatever Jehovah does,
in the meantime, children are suffering. That's okay.
If I were to tell Jehovah, do this, do that,
it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be about if Jehovah is like.
I believe that he
does
can
it
take
hurt your soul.
I cry every day when I see the news.
So then
I went to that. I'm not going to stop at Jehovah. Oh, well, I have full trust that he has his appointed time, his way of doing things. This is the issue about his way of doing things is the right way.
What if like I don't know.
Not my way.
But what if
he
wait? What if
I'm
like
not going to tell him he's my creator. I'm not going to tell him that's wrong. That you
but what if like a kid went to the elders and was like, somebody touched me in a bad way, and like this happened, and when the elders were like, we don't have two witnesses, we can't do anything about it.
Well,
and that's okay.
Jehovah's listening. Jehovah's listening.
Mom, you have a Jesus fish? I thought that wasn't okay.
What is a Jesus fish?
The little fish on your pillow, the silver one. That's a Jesus fish. Oh, it kind of looks like a Jesus fish, almost. I guess it's an infinity symbol. Okay, well that's good. I guess it's not what I thought it was. That's good. All right, I'll let you go, Mom. I'm sorry. Okay. One more hug. I'm sorry. I never get to see you.
Okay, well,
remember,
time is short, like very short, and you can see your mom again, because she is going to be resurrected.
My mom's going to be resurrected?
Yes, she is.
You really believe
Most definitely, without any doubt. She made the right choice, and Jehovah was happy.
Is that what makes you sure that you made the right choice too?
Yes.
With the telling her not
well,
to
I didn't make that choice. She made it. I said respect her choice. That's what I said. Respect her choice.
Medical records say
and I am glad they try to make me go against her, and I said I cannot do that. That's her decision.
Well,
and
the hospital liaison committee was there to help you not go against her decision, right?
No, I didn't talk to any.
No, they were there. They were there. I remember people being there. I remember
brothers.
Yeah, and they were the hospital liaison committee. I remember.
Well, I wasn't
very
active.
specific. I know. I remember them though.
Okay.
But
and we did find a doctor that wouldn't do the surgery without, but it wasn't the blood issue. She was dying.
But in the medical records, it says that you're the one that made the decision, right? It says that.
Well,
it says the mother said not to give blood.
I approve.
Even if she has to die. That's really what it says.
And that's what your mom said too. And I approve of her decision, yes. Definitely. And I am so very grateful and thankful that she made that decision. Because that means she upheld what Jehovah says, has respect for him. And even though she did all her drunkenness or whatever things that I've done, and she changed.
Did you spill coffee, Mom?
Probably. Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I couldn't tell if it was a decoration or coffee.
No, I've been working today.
Anyway, I'll let you go. I know you got to listen to your thing.
Well, I'm going to just put my stuff away and get dressed.
Well, I'm glad to see you, and I'm glad that you're okay.
Okay, and
I'm very, very glad that you're still as coherent and healthy. I didn't think that you were gonna go like off mentally for a long time.
I've been clean. I actually installed lights. I changed
I was worried.
everything.
Uncle Ruben said you were gonna end up living with Diane. I was like, oh my gosh, she's not that bad already.
Probably in about 10 years when I'm
10 years. Yeah, I was gonna say you're not that gone. My goodness.
Yesterday I drove in the rain. I went downtown with all the sisters in my car. Yeah.
And you're what, 70 now? My goodness, Mom! Congratulations.
I just went to the doctor and I told him that I forgot this, I forgot that,
Jeez.
and then he put me on medication, and I said, my
Didn't they have you on
mom,
ginkgo once?
that's the diagnosis, just because I said I
'Cause you're
forgot
old.
that.
And your
Because
breath is-
and because my mom got senile,
Oh, yeah.
and he right away said, "Well, I'm gonna give you Arasat."
You'll call me before you get senile, right?
I called Ruben and I said, "Mijo," because we can talk to since I think since your mom died, Mija died. But Ruben, I'm calling you because right now I remember you're my son. I may not remember that, and you may see me, and I won't know who you are. So that's why I'm calling you that. But I'm okay. I mean, I'm
Well,
working.
like I said, I did not actually technically have a sex change. I just am on testosterone. It's not the same thing. And there's nothing's been cut off, nothing's been added. Everything's the same, just my hormones are different. I'm not having a period. And my voice is a little deeper. Also, I've been going by the name Asher.
Yeah, I heard that.
I know, you probably don't like that name. I know you probably like
I
my...
love that name.
Really?
Sure, sir.
It's a biblical name, yes.
Yeah. I said, what?
Well,
Okay.
it's a nice name. I like it. It means happiness. Anyway, all right, Mama. I'll let you go. I'm
Are
sorry.
you married or anything?
No, no. I'm just
no.
on my own, and
Okay.
Elizabeth's in school. She started kindergarten. Adam's in middle school,
Yeah.
and that's about it. That's all that's going on.
And are you driving?
No, I got dropped off,
Oh,
but everything's good.
okay. All right.
All right, I'll talk to you later, Mama.
Okay. I'll see you later. Bye, Mom. Take care.
And enjoy your meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Oh my lord. Well, that could have gone a lot worse, I guess. Christ. Alrighty, I'm back. I apologize if you can hear various background noise. People are still awake around here and very much outside. This is why I usually stream at night, actually. It's not because, like, I'm some kind of night owl or something. It's literally because people are very much active and very much noise making and stuff during the day, so makes it a little more tricky. Makes it a little trickier to try to stream, but yeah. All right. So yeah, that was the footage. That was the footage I was talking about. That next door neighbor's kids. Yes, we can hear them that clearly. Well, and it's also that the mic is really good. Anyway, yeah. So and don't worry, they're not killing him. He's got some developmental stuff going on, so he screams a lot to communicate. And he just screams in general. You know, he's like a little toddler, so they do that. Anyway, yeah, so my grandma is like, you can see that she actually still, obviously, she still has her humanity in there somewhere. Like, that's what I really like about this footage that I have. Like, I know they didn't get to really show the whole thing, or even close to the whole thing, in the documentary. They only showed, like, the tiny parts that you probably recognized when you heard, when you heard the full thing. You probably recognized the parts that she did say in the documentary. Primarily about how glad she is that my mother made that choice, even though it was not my mother. And it's clear as day, written in the medical documents, that my mother went back and forth on whether or not she was going to accept blood, and she only started to say no when she started to lose her grip on reality. For those who don't know, my mom suffered from paranoid schizophrenia, and for that she had to be on very strong medication to control any delusions or hallucinations that she would experience. And when she was in the hospital for the first several days that she was there, they did not have her on that medication, so she started to lose her grip on reality. Oh good, I'm glad, Vinny. But yeah, she started to lose her grip on reality. And
And that's when she started to say no to the blood. And I think that only got worse when the family showed up. It probably triggered something inside of her, the old indoctrination of, the pressure to quote unquote do the right thing. But the doctors knew that she was suffering from brain swelling and that she was also, affected by the schizophrenia taking hold of her. I mean, even if you're healthy mentally, brain swelling messes with your ability to make good decisions. Like, it messes with your cognitive function that much that you could make a very detrimental decision to the point of, like, literally dying. So yeah, that's why they ultimately gave my grandmother the choice. And my grandmother ignored the fact that my mom actually initially said yes to blood. She ignored that fact and went ahead and went with, when my mother was out of her mind, not to be disrespectful, but I mean, she went with that point and just ran with it and said that's what she wanted, and she's sitting there trying to gaslight me, as you can see at the door. She's trying to gaslight me into the delusion she's experiencing, which is that my mother wanted to die, which I can't believe that. I mean, I can't really know for sure because my mother's gone, and I can't ask her, hey, did you actually really want to die? Like, was it a suicidal thing? Was it a JW thing? What was it? Did you actually want to die? No, I can't ask her that. But I believe my mother would have taken blood had she been in her right mind, had she not been experiencing the physiological effects on her cognitive abilities. But yeah, like I said, she tried to gaslight me, my grandma. And I think that's how she's getting by. I think that's how she allows herself to feel no guilt over what happened, is she really believes that my mother wanted that. And I know that she didn't. And I can't know for 100% sure, but I really don't believe that she wanted that. I mean, she was about to graduate from college. She was in her last semester. Like, things were finally going really well for her. My Uncle Reuben doesn't believe my mom wanted that. He remembers that she said yes to blood. He told me that on the phone the other day. He said that he distinctly remembers that she said yes. And you heard in there that my grandmother doesn't even remember the HLC being there. She remembers brothers and stuff, she says. But I'm like, yeah, that was the HLC. I was there, I remember. And she's like, well, okay. But yeah, you see that she, you see how she remembers things. She kind of tailors her memory to help suit, well, to help suit her agenda. Well, not her agenda, the cult's agenda, and to help soothe her, to help assuage her guilt, soothe her conscience. It wasn't her who killed my mother in her mind. It was, it was my mother who made that choice. She puts it all on her. And that's just, that's just not fair. That's just not fair. You wouldn't put all of that on a person who was out of their mind, both from mental illness and physiological issues. You wouldn't do that to anybody else in any other situation. If we weren't talking about, sorry for the noises, if we weren't talking about Jehovah's Witnesses, like if it were any other type of situation where there were no religion involved, that would be like completely unethical to just say, oh yeah, we listened to the person whose brain wasn't working. Like, in literally any sense, it wasn't working. And we listened to them and let them choose whether or not they wanted to live. That's... no. And you heard that they even tried to give her blood. They literally... They tried to hang a bag of blood, and the nurse stopped them. I don't recall that happening, but I'm guessing it's something my grandmother remembers, so I can't speak to whether or not that's actually true. Because I really don't remember them, like, I don't remember the nurse stopping anything from happening. I remember we had I think it was no less than 4 different doctors try to speak to my grandmother for like an hour each, trying to convince her that my mother was definitely going to die if she didn't have blood. That I remember. I remember that. And I have the medical records. I've shown them to tons of people over the years in the community. I used to actually send around a copy of just that screenshot of that specific part. You know, even if she has to die. Do not give her any blood, even if she has to die. And my grandmother still thinks that that was my mom's choice. I'm like, no. No. And I just don't know. I mean, but that's what this cult does to people. It really makes you just... It makes you make some really unethical choices, and it makes you twist your own logic and twist your own memories of things in order to be able to justify it, in order to do it and feel no guilt over it. It's crazy. I'm going to read the comments real quick. If you're just joining us, feel free to rewind back so that you can actually see the footage. I can't tell you how far to rewind, but it's toward the very beginning. I didn't yap too much in the beginning. Let's see here. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Dave is asking, is she Zoom hooked up for meetings like most dubs nowadays? Yeah. She attends meetings over the internet. My grandmother knows how to use the internet. She, I mean, clearly. She found out from the internet that I'm trans. Which, I was surprised to hear that. I was intending to come out to her when I went to her door, but she already knew when I got there. Which is why I think they ended up not using that part, because I think they were like, oh, well, I guess it's not a surprise anymore, so that's not going to make for an interesting part of the documentary. But yeah, she already knew. And I thought it was funny that she kept using the word sex change, the phrase, which, one, that's kind of an outdated phrase to describe transition, because sex change, there's a lot wrong with that phrase. I'll have to explain that one day, but like, yeah, the only thing I've done, even to this day, the only thing I've done is go on testosterone. I still haven't had any kind of surgeries, for various reasons, but yeah, she was like, you cut off your chest, and you know, and I was like, I had to tell her nothing has been taken away or added or anything like that. I've just been on testosterone. But yeah, you noticed the first thing she said to me, by the way, when she opened the door was, "How could you do that to yourself?" And I was like, what? Wow. I can see what her main concern is. And she told me she didn't like my hair being short. I thought that was funny. I'm like, first of all, plenty of female people, not that I identify as female, but plenty of women have short hair. Even in the Jehovah's Witnesses, there are plenty of sisters with short hair, so I don't see how anything is wrong with my haircut, but okay. But I do remember she used to be really disgusted by, like, gay people and trans people and stuff like that. She really, like, she very much clearly expressed that she thought that was disgusting. Literally used the word disgusting, too. That's disgusting. Like, so yeah. Let's see here. Absolutely, she was gregarious, practically to a fault compared with before. The elders must have gotten her to put the brakes on. Yeah, they did. I mean, you heard her in the video. She said that she talked to an elder about what I had been up to, you know, transitioning. And the elders, you know, kind of lectured her and told her, no, you gotta be nice, don't judge, you know, because Ash could come back. And then I told her about that video that I had seen floating around of the supposed elder who had previously transitioned to being female and then transitioned back to being male so that they could become an elder. And I was asking her in there, like, I didn't know they could do that. Like, I'm still pretty damn sure, like, like, you wouldn't be allowed to serve because you would be considered mutilated. You would have been considered to have done something to yourself that was bad, like a gross sinner almost. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Because I really don't think. I think that video is BS. Like, propaganda. That if the cult really did put that video out, it was propaganda. There's no way that you're going to find a congregation that's going to appoint an ex-trans elder. That person is like that's got to be a one-off situation. Like I said, for propaganda, you know, as a token, so that they can be like, see, look, we can change trans people. It's ridiculous. Because I doubt that they appoint trans people ever. I mean, even ex-trans people is what I really mean. And hey, what's up, Bug? Good to see you. And your little kitty face. Let's see here. The undue influence overwhelms. We had the audacity to have called it positive peer pressure in my Kingdom Hall days. Yeah. You know how the liaison committee swarms patient beds? Yeah. No, I remember. They were there. My grandmother doesn't seem to remember. She's like, no, they're just brothers. And I'm like, no, that's the hospital liaison committee. It's never sisters. Yeah, it's them. Dave says coercion ain't a choice. Like those jerk manipulative elders were defensively stating in your protest. Right. Yeah, they kept telling me it was my mom's choice. Oh, hey, Linda. Linda James. It sounds like whoever was giving her the blood was doing as your mother requested. They were trying to, yeah. They did their best, but you know what happens, like the hospital liaison committee and then an indoctrinated disfellowshipped Jehovah's Witness. That's my grandmother. She was still disfellowshipped at the time this happened. You know, they come in and they have the choice. They're given the opportunity to make the choice for my mother, and boom, turn it down. Blocked. Cassandra the Truth says, my heart went out to you and your grandmother. Thank you, Cassandra. I appreciate that. Dave Wicklund says, and the HLCs have strongly manipulated the hospital/medical facilities systems. First question my non-JW aunt got visiting the ER a few years ago was if she's a JW or not in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Oh yeah. Whenever I have to go to the hospital for anything, and they ask me, or like recently when I got my surgery on my gallbladder to get it removed, whenever they bring up the whole question of like, do you consent to a blood transfusion? Because they do ask that specifically, separately of everything else. It used to be lumped in with everything, but now separately they ask you, at least at my hospitals, you know, do you consent to a blood transfusion if you do end up needing it? And I say, hell yeah. And then I use that opportunity to tell them about what happened with my mother and to tell them other stuff about the cult too. And they're usually really sympathetic, and you know, then they open up to me about how it's really hard to treat Jehovah's Witness patients sometimes. You know, they don't discriminate against them. They always make it clear that we don't discriminate, of course, but you know, it is really hard sometimes because we have an oath to save people's lives and to protect life. And going against that is just, it's really, really hard for them. And I feel for them. I can't even imagine having to do that, to knowingly go against the Hippocratic Oath. But hey, you know, it's got to be rough. But JWs exist, unfortunately, and have to make people do this horrible stuff. So it affects not just the families and stuff. It also affects the medical community, because they have to do this. You know how much it affects doctors and nurses when they have to do something, you know, that they know is going to harm a patient and ultimately kill them. Like, I can't even imagine. Sorry, I keep going on about that, but it just really messes with me. Yeah. Your grandmother seemed a little off, like maybe her nerves are bad. Oh, yeah, she's always been like that. She actually that's normally how she sounds. Like, I was very surprised because she was diagnosed with dementia, like a little bit before that, like a few months before that was filmed. But no, that's how she normally sounds. I was very surprised that she sounded so normal. So she's alright. Well, at least she was back then. I don't know how she is now, and I would love to reach out to her. I wanted to the whole pandemic, but I've been afraid to because I'm sure that I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate hearing from me. But I do care about her, and I don't want her to think that I haven't contacted her again because I don't care about her, because that's certainly not the case. I just stay away, out of respect almost. I mean, you heard her in the videos talk about how my uncle moved out of her house after he was disfellowshipped, and he did that out of respect for her, so that she could continue to have meetings inside her house. And I think they must have been talking about field service meetings, but yeah. So I figure she considers it a courtesy that I'm not, constantly trying to contact her. Let's see here. I can't imagine some nurse running to your grandmother to say, "Guess what? They are giving her blood." That does not sound like what any nurse would do. See, yeah, I don't even remember that happening. And I was there the whole time. We didn't even leave the hospital. We slept there. I think we left like once to go home and shower. Not even home. Like, we went to, I think, a Jehovah's Witnesses house that we were staying at, because we stayed at some JWs house for like a night or two, and then I think the rest of the time we stayed in my mom's house. I think it might have been like that we stayed at my mom's house after she died. We stayed there for a couple of nights to take care of her affairs and box some stuff up and mail it back to Texas. But yeah, while we were just, there to visit her in the hospital, thinking that she might get better, yeah, we stayed at a JW's house for a couple of nights. And we only left, like I said, I think one time to go home and shower. But otherwise, we were sleeping in the waiting room. We were sitting by her bedside. I was singing to her. I was reading to her. I was reading Brave New World to her. And I sang "You Are My Sunshine" to her. The nurse told me that she would be able to hear me. She was very heavily sedated at that point, In the beginning, when we got there, she was still able to talk, and she even asked if we were only there because she was dying. Or she didn't ask, she said, "You're only here because I'm dying." And we did leave to go back to Texas because we thought she was going to get better. But then they called us and said she had taken a huge turn and that she was probably not going to make it. So we came back. We literally were about to enter the border of Texas, all the way back from Florida, and we turned right back around. And that's when they put her on a ventilator and sedated her. Let's see here. Yeah, the noises of the ventilator, by the way, still haunt me. Like, I can still hear them. They make a very particular beeping noise. A very specific, at least memorable to me, beeping noise. Sorry, I was just hearing it again in my head. Bug says, "I loved the video clips of you dancing." Oh, thanks. Yeah, those were goofy. I used to love recording myself and my friends and making little videos with the dinosaur that we had, the giant, VHS tape video camera. I was surprised my grandma let me use it. She was like really paranoid about people breaking it and stuff. Ex-JW Smithy says, at Cassandra the Truth, she wants Ash to return to the organization. Linda James says, I can recall you talking about this tragic event very well. You even said that your grandmother had asked you what your thoughts were on your mother having blood. Yeah, she did. This was right before we left to Florida to go and be at her side. my grandmother was on the phone with the doctor. And that's also in the medical records, so I know, like, my memory was very clear. When I saw it in the medical records, I was like, I knew I remembered that correctly. That's when my grandmother turned to me and she said, because she was on the phone, she turned to me and she said, "What do you think I should do? Should I give her the blood?" And I said, "Yeah." I was 17. I didn't think anything of it. I wasn't even going out in service or going to meetings at that point. I did after my mom died, but like I wasn't doing that yet. And I was like, "Yes, give her the blood, yes." And that's when my grandmother turned back on to the phone, and she told the doctor not to give her any blood, even if she has to die. And that is in the medical records. In the beginning of that paragraph, it says, "I spoke with the mother from Texas." So, it's talking about that specific conversation over the phone. Let's see here. Ex-JW Smithy. Oh, yeah. You guys are all saying hi to each other. That's great. I am proud of you for making decisions to make yourself happy and not other people. Yeah, I figure it's perfectly okay to make decisions that make you happy, so long as you're not harming anybody else. And I'm not talking about making them mad. There's a difference between harming somebody and just pissing them off, or disappointing them or whatever. Like, if it was gonna, like, kill my grandmother, like, literally make her drop dead for me to start taking testosterone, that might affect my decision to do that. Because I wouldn't want to hurt anybody. But it's not killing her, and honestly, it would have killed me not to start taking testosterone. I would have probably not been here today, to be quite frank. And it's that way for probably the majority of trans people. Like, they can't take it, they can't take living like that until they get to be themselves. It's really, really hard to live as someone that you're not. And as Ex-JWs, I'm sure you can all understand that. Linda James says, "I've read many accounts of those in the medical field having such a hard time watching their JW patients die." Yeah, I believe it. And I mean, that's literally what they tell me when I talk to them about it. Every time I talk to one about it, they tell me how hard it is to treat JWs, because it's so painful. It's so painful, and I mean, it's got to be, because that you have something that can help somebody, and you have to watch them refuse it and die anyway, based off of lies. So I can't imagine. I don't even think I would be able to be in the medical field just because of stuff like that. That would be too much for me. From what I recall of you telling this before, your mother, who was supposedly taking a stand for Jehovah, wasn't even able to have her service at the Kingdom Hall. Did I remember that right? Yeah, that's correct. My mother did not have her service at the Kingdom Hall. She had a Jehovah's Witness funeral. I think a brother actually gave the talk, but it was at a funeral home. It wasn't inside the Kingdom Hall. And I thought this was interesting, considering my mother wasn't even a practicing Jehovah's Witness and had not been for over a year at that point. Like, she was celebrating holidays, she was drinking and, had boyfriends and stuff. Like, she wasn't in any measure an active or even inactive JW. She was very much out there in the world, you know what I mean? Like, not even close. I mean, and you hear me tell my grandmother that, like, she wasn't even a practicing Jehovah's Witness, and my grandmother's like, "It doesn't matter. All that matters is that she took the stand, before she died." Bug says, "It's the doctors and nurses whose jobs are to help people live. They're not in the business of watching their patients who can be saved die." Right. I don't know, any doctor who actually enjoys, the prospect of a patient dying when they could very well accept, a life-saving blood transfusion or other medical service or treatment. I know that there are definitely cases of like serial killer medical professionals out there, but those are like that they're literally serial killers. Okay, so like that's different. But you know, actual like normal non-serial killer doctors and stuff and nurses, they don't want that. They don't want to see their patients die. They want to see them get better. They want to see them recover and return home and live a normal, full and productive life, or at least as close to that as they can get. Let's see here. Ex-JW Smithy says, as if explaining the two-witness rule to your grandmother when a child needs help is enough for her to see the damage being allowed in the Kingdom Hall. She believes Jehovah sees it all. That's it? Yes, that's it. You heard my grandma. She says, you know, well, Jehovah sees everything, so, and he's going to take care of it at Armageddon. That's the appointed time. She kept saying, that's the appointed time. Jehovah has an appointed time to take care of this. And I was like, so children, it's okay for children to suffer now. It hurts him dearly, she says. It hurts him very dearly. And like, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking, not that much, apparently, because, you know, he has the power, apparently, to do something about it, right? So why is he just letting it happen? Why? I mean, personally, I don't want to worship a god that's just cool with that. That's awful. I don't know. And this is not me taking a stab at religion. This is me taking a stab at Jehovah, specifically. Yeah, Jehovah can eat a bag of crap, for all I care. If he's watching, which supposedly he is, yeah. Eat shit and die slow, Jehovah. Alright, let's see here. What does the comments say here? How can this even happen after taking that supposed stand? Yeah, I don't know. You know, if it's the way that my grandmother said, if that's all that matters, that she took that stand right before she died, then shouldn't she have been in the Kingdom Hall getting a proper JW send-off? Like, nah, I guess not. Asher, I thought your name was biblical, but it wasn't sure. Yeah, it is biblical. There's the tribe of Asher in the Bible, and I think that comes from somebody named Asher in the Bible. I didn't pick it because it was biblical. I picked it because it means happy, and I like it. I also thought it was funny because, you know, because I began my life as her. Get it? As her. Asher. But yeah. I just... Listening to that video of my grandmother, it's so weird, you know? I mean, she wasn't pissed off at me like she was in the last video that I posted of her a few years back, where she screamed at me and threw me out of the house for saying, just barely trying to get out one syllable of apostate shit, you know, or what she thinks is apostate shit, you know, Satan's lies. No, she was almost her normal self. I mean, you heard her, we were joking around. I told her, like, yeah, I remember that you tried to study with me, and then you had to stop because because I wasn't a very good study. And then she laughed, and she remembered that she had handed me off to another sister in the congregation. Which, by the way, fun fact, I actually, there's a video up on my channel. I will try to link it on this video description later when I find it. But there is a video where I'm out. It's one of my out in service videos where I talk to witnesses on the street, or, you know, talk to them at carts. And they had been in my old neighborhood, and I caught them out there, and I went and talked to them. And the sister that my grandmother's talking about in that video that I just played, she's in the group of witnesses that I'm talking to, and she doesn't even recognize me. It's really funny. I mean, I had already started transitioning at this point. I was already, like, I don't know, probably over a year in or so, maybe almost 2. No, I think it was like over a year. And yeah, we were talking and stuff, and she didn't recognize me. She didn't even recognize me. I just think that's really funny. I mean, she studied with me a lot, and she legit did not recognize me. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I just was curious if anybody had any other thoughts or anything on that. I am gonna upload the video by itself without me yapping and stuff. I just wanted to play it here, because I promised it would be out today, and because I wanted to make sure that the sound could be audible. That's why I played it over a stream, because it has a really good background noise filter. If I had played it without the filter on it, it would have been like this, and that would have been really irritating. I'm gonna have to actually use a private stream in order to upload it, so that I can upload it without me talking, but like still have that same filter on it. But I figure I just do that so that, like, people don't have to watch this massive, long stream of me yapping, or people don't come to the video thinking that it's going to be, an hour long. Because it really is. It's only 24 minutes. But yeah. So yeah, you can see my grandmother was almost her normal self. That's really what she normally is like. She jokes. She's a little... She can be a little grouchy, a little vicious sometimes, and that's just her normal personality. That's not even just because, like, of the apostate stuff. She really is just like that. You gotta dodge the landmines with her. You have to know how to talk to her in order not to piss her off. She's really easy to piss off. Jehovah's Witness stuff or not, she's just really easy to piss off. You can really easily say the wrong thing with my grandmother. I remember growing up, that's how she always was. Like, I remember one time I answered the phone to her, "What's up?" And she was like, "What's up? You don't say what's up to me. I am your grandmother." Well, actually, she said I'm your mom, because I don't know if you noticed in there, I call her mom. It's because she raised me. But yeah, she's like, "I'm your mom. You don't call me, you don't say what's up. That's how you talk to your friends. And I'm not your little friend." And I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So she's like that. She's really, really easy to upset if you don't know how to talk to her correctly. Very, very touchy. But still, when you're on her good side, she's funny and nice. She can be anyway. Linda James says, "You and I have had our public differences of opinions, but I must say, I'm really glad and really proud of you having had this and other chances to tell your mother's story." Thanks, Linda. Linda James. I really appreciate that. I really do. Yeah. Oh. I mean, that's really all I'm here for. I'm not here to engage in any drama. I'm not here to cause any issues. I've never been here to get famous or to make money. I'm literally here to do activism. That's it. That's been my whole deal all these years that I've been here doing this. 100%. And I'm glad that I'm able to do that. I'm glad that I get chances to do that. And oh yeah, speaking of which, somebody did ask me, and I'm gonna have to clarify this in another video, when it's not, because I don't want it to be buried in this one, but somebody did ask me on the side if I got paid to do the documentary. No. I did not get paid, and even if they had offered to pay me, I would not have accepted any payment for this. I have historically been against receiving money for activism. So, I just wanted to point that out. If they had tried to pay me and were like really insistent, like, no, we have to by law or something, I don't know, I would have told them, take my portion and donate it to mental health services, or to homeless shelters or women's shelters or youth shelters. Donate it to food banks. Donate it to something that helps the community, specifically something that a Jehovah's Witness who's displaced, who got disfellowshipped, might need to use. But don't give it to me. Yeah. Yeah. So that, if you got to watch that footage, yeah, it was something. It was really bizarre. It doesn't come across that way in the documentary. I'm sure it doesn't come across that my grandma is, that she can be friendly, that she can joke and stuff. It comes across because they only use such a teeny tiny part of it, of all that 24 minutes of footage. It comes across that she's, she's very indoctrinated, and that's true, but that's only one side of the story. And I hope that you all kind of got a glimpse of the kind of relationship that she and I have and had. Well, I don't know if have present tense is correct anymore, but the kind of relationship that she and I used to have. And I hope you got the sense of the fact that we really do care about each other. She obviously cares about me. She was asking, even at the end, she stopped me before I was trying to take off and asked me, so, are you married or anything? She clearly still has interest in my life. She does love me, and I believe that, even though she's indoctrinated and does other stuff that might make it seem like she doesn't love me. I know she does deep down, and I know it's really only the indoctrination in the cult that put a huge wall between us. I mean, that's the woman that raised me. I used to sit on her lap, and she used to hug me to death, and I mean, yeah, there were definitely large amounts of abuse too, but I don't believe that that she doesn't love me. I do believe she is she was a victim of abuse herself, and mentally ill, and victims of other crimes and stuff besides the abuse. So all of that factors in. But I really don't believe for a second that my grandmother doesn't love me. In fact, I think that's why she, is so upset that I transitioned. I think that's why she wants me to come back. And I mean, even though I transitioned, you heard her, she still thinks I have a chance, and she still wants me to come back. And this is after she already knows I've crashed all those halls. And again, I don't like using the word crash anymore, but this is after she knows I've spoken out against the organization. I thought that was the unforgivable sin, right? But she still wants me to come back. She really loves me. It's in her own twisted, through the filter of the Watchtower kind of way, but she does love me. And I love her too. Very, very much. I mean, the first thing I did was ask her for a hug. And the last thing I did was get a hug from her too. Well, it wasn't the literal last thing, but I did get a hug from her at the end as well. I really love and miss my grandma. And I meant it. I was actually very concerned about her because, like I said, a few months before that happened, my uncle told me that she had dementia, that she was diagnosed with dementia, and I was really worried about her, and I'm still worried about her now. And it kills me that I can't just pick up the phone and expect her to pick up too, and talk to her and make sure she's okay during all this crap that's been going on the past almost 2 years now, the pandemic. Thanks for clarifying what's that, Vinny? Got into an argument about what? Just curious. Sorry, there's a lag between the comments and what you guys are seeing and what I'm talking about. So there's a little bit of difference, so I don't know exactly what you're referring to. Linda James says, my mother has recalled stories of my past in a very different way than how things have truly happened. I went to Las Vegas to get married so that she could not go to it. I don't do Vegas. I don't do Vegas either. I'm autistic. The lights alone would be really hard on me. I couldn't do it. I mean, I guess maybe during the day, or I mean, if I did it with sunglasses, maybe. That's why I wear sunglasses on stream, by the way. It's not because I think I'm cool. It's because look, you can check it out. There's a big light pointed right at me so you're actually able to see me. Otherwise, if I didn't have this light on, it would look like garbage. Here, I can show you. Hold on. Sorry for the noise. Look, check this out. Oh, it would look like shit if I didn't have a light on, and that's no good. It makes it look like the camera is actually a potato. Speaking of potato, I'm gonna have one of those for dinner. But yeah, that's an old internet joke, for those of you who are confused as to why I said potato. It's an old internet joke people would leave on videos on YouTube when it was like a low-quality video. Like, they would say, "Was this filmed on a potato?" Glad you played the whole video. Yeah, of course. You know, I promised I would. It's really funny because at the beginning you can hear the director trying to direct me. He was like, no, you're too much futzing with the phone. He's talking about, like, because he didn't want to record me, like, turning on my phone and getting ready to film. He wanted to just record me getting out and going to the door. Yeah, it's funny because while that was happening, literally while I was filming and I was getting ready to get out, that's when my grandmother's garage door opened. That's why I was swearing a bunch. Oh shit, her door's opening. Her garage door's opening. Right when I was getting out to go see if she was there, she actually, her garage door opened and she pulled up. And I was like, because like I had no idea if she was going to be there or not. And then right at the moment, it's like fate. Like right at the moment I was getting ready to get out and go knock on her door, she shows up. And I was like, holy smokes. Well, not smokes. I mean, you heard all the swear words I said. Yeah. The sounds and smells too, Asher. Yeah, the sounds and smells. Yep. The sounds and smells would be too much for me in Vegas. There's like so much going on. I can't stand like cigarette smoke. Like, no hate to any people that smoke cigarettes. It really messes me up. I can't be around cigarette smoke. It's too much. It's why I have a hard time being, around the smoking sections at bars. Like, it's not allowed to be indoors in San Antonio, but like, usually there's an outdoor patio where everybody can smoke. I can't do that. If my friends go out there, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't join you. Not that I go to bars these days. I want to, just to do karaoke again, but like, I haven't been to a bar in forever, not just because of the pandemic, but because I haven't drank in, it's going to be 14 months here in a couple of days. And not because I'm like in any program or anything, it was mostly for my health, and just, I don't even really like to drink. Like, it just made me feel like crap. So I just decided to give it up. Let's see here. The love from your grandmother did show up, even in the documentary. I'm really glad, because, I didn't want people to think that my grandmother was evil, and I think they did a good job of showing that in the documentary, that my grandmother's not evil, it's more that she's under the influence of the organization. I really do believe that she loves her family. She loves us through the filter of the Watchtower, and she lets the Watchtower, the Watchtower doctrine inform the way in which she loves us. So I'm glad that it came through, though, because she was hesitant to hug me. You can see that in the documentary, but I don't think that's because she didn't love me and didn't miss me. I think that's because she was still a little unsure, and I'm the scary apostate, right? She doesn't even. You can tell, like, that, just that alone, that scene of her just kind of patting me on the back, almost like I'm contagious or something, like that shows right there that that's a good visual of the cognitive dissonance and the battle that they have going on in their mind, of like their feelings and what they're taught. Like, she loves me, but she's not supposed to really be hugging me and talking to me like that. Even though I was never baptized, so technically she can talk to me. It's just that there's also the whole issue of I'm an opposer, so like she can't talk to me. But like, it's confusing. But she calls me an apostate. I thought you had to be baptized to be an apostate. I only made it to unbaptized publisher, but I was born in which is why she told me that it doesn't matter that I wasn't baptized. I mean, she says that in the other video that I have of her, that it doesn't matter that I was not baptized, that I should know better because I was raised in it. And they treat a lot of people like that. Linda James says, I am autistic too. I get it. Sunglasses really helped me as well. When was this filmed? Before COVID? Yes, this was filmed in October of 2018. All of the stuff that I did in the documentary was filmed on the same day. It was all filmed October 23rd, 2018. The interviews were filmed first in the morning, then in the afternoon we went to my grandma's house, and then in the evening / nighttime is when we went to the Kingdom Hall to do the protest there. Whether I was paid for the documentary. Yeah, no, I was not paid for the documentary. I can't believe somebody argued with you about that. Why would they even argue with you about it? Like, you tell them to come over here and tell that to my face. I'm just kidding. Like, I'm not. It doesn't make me angry. But yeah, you can tell them that, like, and ask any of the other participants, and they'll tell you the same thing. We were not paid for the documentary. And I would not have accepted payment even if they had offered. No way. Activism is on the house. Way too much stimulation will lead me to a meltdown. Yeah, no, me too. Me too. I've actually had this happen to me before I even realized that that's what that was, because I only got diagnosed last year. And late last year is when I got diagnosed finally. It was only after finally figuring out, what was going on with me and getting the diagnosis that I realized a lot of the times I was having like these horrible experiences and freaking out and stuff. It was a meltdown, and it was overstimulation. Hey, you didn't have to delete your comment, Vinny. It's alright. I know you did. I know what you meant. Let's see here. The Watchtower is demonic. Absolutely. I 100% agree with you there. Sue the Watchtower into oblivion. I don't know if I can sue the Watchtower. I mean, I guess maybe I could. I probably could. But I definitely regret not suing individual elders for attacking me at protests, for physically harming me. I have bruises, or had bruises, like at the 2019 memorial. I showed videos, they're still on my channel, of bruises that they left on me. They left one on my leg, they left one on my wrist where they had grabbed me really hard to drag me out of there. They were not nice. And in that video on the documentary, they were like, they don't show it, but they were kicking me on the way out. Like, kicking my legs, kicking my shins, like, stepping on me, and of course grabbing me. And they're just thugs. And I got called a thug. I got called a thug on the comments of the of the protest footage from the documentary on YouTube. Somebody called me a thug, and I'm like, I'm the thug, not the overglorified gangsters in suits. Give me a break. I'm not the one hurting people. Let's see here. I hadn't thought about them being paid, but knowing that is good to know. Yeah, 100%. I wanted to make that very clear because it had already been asked to me a few times by different people, like, did you guys get paid for that? And I don't, like, again, I wouldn't have accepted payment even if they had offered it. I don't know if that makes a difference to anybody whether or not we were paid, but no, we were not. October 23rd, 2018. Yep, that is correct. And I only remember because I took a picture of me and and me and the director who was filming me, which is different from Aaron Kaufman. It was Jeff Furzig who was directing at the time that I was filmed. Aaron Kaufman took over the project later on down the road. Took a picture of me, Jeff, and my daughter photobombed. She's so cute. She loves to photobomb. She actually photobombed her other dad when we went to No, I don't remember what it's called. It's not Comic-Con. It was like the San Antonio version of that. I guess Alamo City Comic-Con? I don't remember what it was called, but it was one of those comic conventions. And Summer Glau from, the Sarah Connor Chronicles and from all kinds of other stuff, Summer Glau. Oh, Firefly, which is like the best thing that I've seen her in ever. I love her in that show. It should have been a lot longer than one season, by the way. She was there, and me and her other dad both paid individually to take pictures with her. And my daughter ran up when her other dad was getting his picture done and totally photobombed. It's not San Japan. No, it wasn't San Japan. I think it was Alamo City Comic-Con. Nobody can see me when I have my sunglasses on. That's how I feel, and I like it. I wear my sunglasses even inside, like, the grocery stores and stuff, because the lights are so freaking bright. Like, those fluorescent lights are painful. It really hurts. And then I usually wear my earbuds inside the grocery store too, because I can't handle all the noises that are happening, because they're all very sudden and loud and just different types of noises. Like, it's very jarring. And then there's people that like yell and talk, and children that shout, and it's a lot. And then there's like the weird grocery store noises, like the beeping and alarms going off in the bakery, and then there's like the cash register noises and the beep beep beep. I can't do that. It's a lot. I've actually had meltdowns in the store when I tried to go in without all this stuff on, and I can't do it. It freaks me out. I have to leave. Yeah. Coffee shop noises. Oh yeah, I can't do that either. That's way too much, because they're just the bean grinding alone. Like, no thank you. Please just give me my coffee so I can run away. Speaking of which, I actually was in a coffee shop earlier today. Getting myself some espresso, but yeah, I still have to wear earbuds. I can't do it. And if I sit in the coffee shop, I have to put earbuds in and turn on, some kind of noise that I'm comfortable with to block it out, like ambient noise that I'm okay with, or like some soft music or something. I know that seems kind of weird. Use noise to block out noise. Oh yeah, the dish is clanking. Can't do that. Can't do it. Let me see here. Hold on. I might bring up the picture that I was talking about, actually, because I thought it was cute. Let me see here. Sorry for all the clicking noises. I apologize. This mic is like super sensitive. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I know I have it somewhere. Well, I don't know where I put it. That's fun. Oh, gosh. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Found it. I wanted to find the version where I blurred out my daughter's face, because, I don't want to violate her consent to show her on my stream or anything. So let's see here. Yeah. Okay. There it goes. Yeah, that's the director, Jeff Fierzig. That's me, and there's my kid down there. She had to photobomb me. Oh, when the dinner plates smash on the floor, yeah, that is a lot. The clanking of the spoons and the knives. Oh, and when somebody's cutting food on their plate at a restaurant, I can't. Oh my god. Today, I was out and I heard like there was a conversation really loud at a table next to me, and it was like this lady was just so loud, and I know like she was just having I think it was a normal volume conversation with her friend, but it was just, to me it was like she was sitting right next to me and kind of talking loudly into my ear, and I had to put my earbuds in like immediately. When I sat down, I stuck them in. I was like, nope, this is like not gonna work. There weren't even that many people in the restaurant that I was in, but like, or not restaurant, sorry, the coffee shop. I guess coffee shop counts as a restaurant if they serve food, right? But yeah, oh my gosh, it was too loud. Too loud. But yeah, this is the picture I'm talking about. I only remember the date because I took this picture and I posted it, and it had the date saved on it and everything. It was that day. It was all one very long day of interviews, and then the on-camera interviews, and then the next thing was going to my grandma's house, and then after that the Kingdom Hall protest. It's really funny. I don't know if you remember hearing in the beginning of the recording that I just played for y'all, that the director said at the start, he was like, this is Asher crashing grandma's house, take one. And I was like, it's probably going to be the only take. And he was like, yeah. Because, yeah. Also, I thought it was funny that he referred to me going to talk to her as crashing her house. I mean, does that really count? I just was going to go talk to her. It's not like I ran into her house and... see, this is why I have a problem with calling them Kingdom Hall crashes now too, because I don't like burst into the hall and like, start screeching at them about, how much I hate them and how bad they are and all that stuff. It's usually like I sit there quietly and wait for the song to be over, and then I, say a prayer, and then I say all the stuff, the important things that I think they need to know, and tell them about my mom, and usually I'll address the children too and let them know that there's help out there for them and that they can report people hurting them. It's never what I would consider to be a crash. Plus, like, I'm invited, either explicitly or implicitly. I'm invited when I go to these places, so it's not really a crash. So that's why I keep referring to them as protests or unscheduled presentations. When I think crash, I think, something violent, or something just like, I'm bursting into the hall and I'm being aggressive and I'm a jerk. And it's not like that. I always go in there with love in my heart and concern. Let's see here. I've heard that the director was raised a JW as well. Is that right? Aaron Kaufman, the director who took over the project after my part was filmed, yes, Aaron Kaufman was raised a Jehovah's Witness and is an ex-JW. And I got to speak with Aaron in some, I think we were on Zoom, in some Zoom meetings that we had. Not those kind of Zoom meetings, not the JW ones. But yeah, we got to speak, and yeah, I really liked talking to him because he got it. Like, the producers were very understanding and stuff, and they did their best to kind of try to grasp the experience of the Jehovah's Witness life. They tried to grasp it as well as they could, but like, Aaron got it, because he lived it. So it was really nice to be able to talk to him, and I was really glad to hear that an ex-Jehovah's Witness was directing the project that he had taken over. Not that I didn't love Jeff. Jeff is a fantastic, like, incredible director. He directed The Devil and Daniel Johnston and Author, the J.T. Leroy story. both fantastic documentaries. I recommend everybody watch them. But yeah, like either way, it was going to end up being a really awesome documentary. Like really. His name is actually still in the credits, probably because he filmed some of the stuff in the beginning. Let's see here. The Elder's book says not to push or act like that. They're not guided by Holy Spirit or imitators of Christ. Yeah, they actually had a letter sent out to all the elders a while back when I was first doing Kingdom Hall protests. There was an elder's letter sent out telling them, not to be violent, not to even touch us, just to ask us to leave and revoke our implied invitation, and that was it. So I don't know why they do that, but they're literally going against what they've been instructed to do by the branch. And I would tell them that too. Like I mention it in some of the protest videos. Oops. I remember, like I said, your elder's letter says not to touch me. Now, I even tell them at some points, like, you can go to jail for touching me. Because apparently the elder's letter is not enough of an incentive not to touch me. I tell them, you could go to jail for touching me. And they're like, you can go to jail for being here. I'm like, no, I was invited, and I'm leaving when I was asked. So, and that's another reason I don't like calling it a crash, is because, when you crash, you're there uninvited, and not only that, you usually don't leave when you're asked. Like, you're being an asshole. And I wasn't being an asshole. So yeah, like, but yeah, no, that's what I was saying, Linda James, is like, yeah, I was invited, either implicitly, the way that everybody's invited to a meeting, like, everybody can come, everybody's welcome. That's the implicit invitation. Or I've been invited explicitly, like to the memorial, when I have a literal invitation, like a piece of paper that I was given by a Jehovah's Witness. So I've never shown up where I was not invited in some form or another. So I've technically never crashed a meeting in my life, if we want to be very, very technical here. And I also don't like it just because it stigmatizes the type of activism that I do when I'm doing those types of protests. It's not like it's the only type of protest or activism or anything that I do. I do tons of types of activism. And I'm not under any kind of illusion that doing a Kingdom Hall protest is the only way to wake anybody up, and that it's going to wake everybody up, and it'll reach everybody. I don't think that at all. That would be ridiculous. But it does reach people. In fact, very recently, like after the documentary came out, I got in touch with somebody. I won't explain how, because privacy reasons, but I got in touch with somebody who, it turns out, was at one of my protests, and because of that protest, they left. So, and this isn't even the first person that I've heard from that woke up because of one of my protests. So, I know for a fact it works. And this person, like, was not just a fair-weather JW. They were, like, in. They had privileges and stuff. They were appointed. So, if I can wake somebody like that up, I mean, these protests work. They don't work on everybody, but nothing does. Reddit's not going to work on everybody. Videos aren't going to work on everybody. Talking to them directly isn't going to work on everybody. I mean, my grandma's proof of that. But that's the thing. Like, all of these things are important. They all work together. That's why I believe all activism is valid. People who make websites, that's a valid form of activism. People who leave the Yelp and Google reviews, that's a valid form of activism. Providing services to help people that are leaving or kicked out of the cult, that's a form of activism. Everything works together. Like, I wouldn't have a website to send people to when I'm doing Kingdom Hall protests, or when I'm quote-unquote out in service talking to witnesses on the street. I wouldn't have a website to send anybody to if somebody wasn't making websites. If Mark O'Donnell didn't release all of those documents, I wouldn't have legitimate documents to point people to and say, look, there's evidence from your organization. People who write books, that's a valid form of activism as well. You know, people who tell their stories online, that's a valid form of activism. It's all important. They all work together. Let's see here. How come they won't interview me as an Ex-JW at a convention to prove that I am a liar and poison? That's actually really good. That's funny. Yeah, you know what? I should call a Kingdom Hall and ask them, hey, so you know, I'd be willing, if you're cool with it, I'd be willing to be an example of an apostate at your convention if you'll interview me on stage. You know, you can show everybody how bad I am. This is your chance. You know, show everybody why they shouldn't talk to me. And then I'll bring a laptop with Jeffrey Jackson saying that they're not God's only channel. I'll be like, yeah, so check this out. Oh gosh, that would be one heck of a protest, right? Like just flipping the switch on them. And it wouldn't be a crash because I would be invited, just like the other stuff. But yeah. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, so that was a really intense video. Tomorrow I'm going to be uploading the actual full protest footage from the Crusaders documentary. Like I said yesterday, I legit forgot that the one that I uploaded was just one that I had trimmed down a little bit so I could show a couple of friends right after I had done it. Because, you know, I didn't want them to have to sit through, I don't remember, I think it was like between 7 and 9 minutes long, the footage. I was like, no, they just probably want to see the, you know, the quote-unquote meat of the footage. So that's why I cut it down to like right before I start talking. So I'm gonna upload the actual full thing tomorrow, and I will over the next few days I'll be uploading little clips here and there of, you know, behind the scenes footage, if you want to call it that. You know, like where I'm recording myself talking before I go talk to my grandmother, where I'm recording myself talking before I go and do the Kingdom Hall protest, because they, you know, they asked me to do little recordings so they could record me recording as B-roll for the documentary. And I have tons of memorial footage that I still have to release, and it's because I went to 2 memorials this year. 2. And yes, they were both on Zoom. And I have tons of footage of a study, well, not a study, multiple studies that I did with the same elder. The same elder from the recording that I have currently up on my channel that I really encourage everybody to watch. It's really mind-blowing, the stuff that this guy says, and very angering. Like, it really pissed me off, some of the stuff he said, but I had to keep my cool while I was talking to him. It's called Physically and Mentally in Elder Admissions, I think. And it's on my channel. You'll find it. I might actually link it in here too. So I have 2 videos I gotta link. I gotta link that one out in service video that had the lady that my grandmother was talking about in this video, and I gotta link the elder admissions video so that you can see. It's an hour and a half long. I'm not gonna lie, it's really long, but there are timestamps linked in the what do you call it? In the pinned comment. There are timestamps, so you can go to whichever, you know, subject or whatever interests you, I guess, or whichever thing that you're curious about seeing. But if you want to listen to the whole thing in its full context, that's good too, because it's full of plenty of things that are, you know, questionable, that raise an eyebrow, and just flat out bad. Like, he flat out accuses, for instance, accuses one of the people that tried to report a child abuser in his congregation, an underage person who tried to report a child abuser. He accuses that person of lying. That kid. He accuses a kid of lying. He said, I just don't believe him. Just like that. Like he said, I just don't believe him. And he also, puts the blame for, being abused on young girls, saying that they're over-sexualized, saying that it's, that's why that happens. And I'm like, like, I just really, And I'm never going to show this guy's face on my channel, but rest assured, he has a very punchable face. Like, I'm not talking about his looks, I'm just talking about, like, the grin that he has when he's talking about the stuff that he says, the really awful things he says. Like, trust me, you just, And he thinks he knows everything, too. He's one of those elders that really enjoys doing studies, really enjoys being an elder. So, it hurts me. It hurts me and it angers me. And I really hope that he slips up enough so that either me or somebody else can send him to prison someday. Let's see here. Oops. Let's see here. Was sorry for somebody to call you that. It's a victim-blaming damnation organization who are headstrong and puffed up with pride. They're the indoctrinators. Yep, they sure are. I just don't believe him. What an arrogant smuck. Yeah, that's literally what he said, though. He straight up said, I just don't believe him. And he tells me a lot about, like, how they handle the child abuse stuff. Like, he goes into detail, like, we go to a payphone. He talks about what they used to do. Like, we would go to a payphone if there was something to report. Like, if the branch gave us permission to report it, we would go to a payphone, and we would report it anonymously and make sure to get the badge of the cop and all this crap. You gotta check it out for yourself. I mean, it's one thing for me to tell you what he's saying, and I'm leaving out, like, a lot of details here, but, like, it's one thing for me to say what he says, but, like, to hear him say it is something else. It really is. It's unbelievable that somebody could say that and believe it and be proud of it and happy and would tell this to somebody who's a stranger on top of that. Like, the whole reason I was on this call with this guy for an hour and a half, by the way, the original purpose of it was that another elder gave that guy my number, so that I could get my memorial link, for Zoom, so that I could attend the memorial. And this guy got into an hour and a half conversation about me where he just spilled all kinds of stuff. It just goes to show you, like, these people, some of them are just, they're just beyond redemption, really. I don't know that this guy could ever be redeemed. He actively participated in covering up child abuse, from what it sounds like, allegedly. Yeah. And the authorities were contacted by me. Well, me and a friend, we did get in contact with the authorities about this, and unfortunately at this time there's nothing they can really do to this guy because not enough information, despite all of the stuff he drops in this conversation, not enough information was given about any potential crimes. So yeah, they know what they're doing. They say a lot, but they also say just enough to fly under the radar legally. Oh, and he told me that child abusers do go out in service, by the way. Not only that, but that he's gone out with one himself. Yep. And when I asked him if they go by themselves, the child abusers, he dodged that question. He was like, well, it's not very fun to go out by yourself. We usually go out in twos. And I'm like, He didn't even mention the thing in the Bible about, at least I don't remember him mentioning the thing in the Bible about that you're supposed to go by twos. But yeah, he just said it was like, that they don't like to do that because it's not as fun. Let's see here. The governing body called Ex-JWs liars and poisonous. Yep, they sure did. They sure did. I know you're responding to Ex-JW Smithy, but I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah, they 100% called Ex-JWs liars and poisonous. I mean, you saw my grandmother. She was patting me like I'm contagious or something. Like if she touches me too much, if she hugs me too hard, she's gonna catch the apostasy, and she's gonna, turn into a satanic person or something. I mean, little does she know. Yeah, you heard her in the video. She did not look up anything that I said to her, and she won't. She fully believes that any of that stuff, any of the subject matter that we talked about, is just apostate lies. And she fully believes in that whole leave it in Jehovah's hands crap. Like, Jehovah sees it. There's an appointed time Jehovah will take care of it. And it hurts Jehovah very much. It hurts him very dearly that children are being hurt right now. But he'll take care of it. He sees everything. Like, okay. Well, I guess that's easy enough for you to dismiss. I sure as hell can't dismiss it like that. I've known and observed some JWs to label any JW child abuse nowadays as fake news, to dismiss all of it as a shutdown technique. Ostrich Syndrome 101. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. In the video, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I asked her if she, if she thought it was, I think it was something along the lines of, would you be upset if I did the Kingdom Hall protests, if I did that kind of protest in a Catholic church? Because I know she doesn't like Catholic churches and stuff. And she was like, yes, I would be upset. I love them. She said she loves the Catholic Church. I don't know if y'all caught that. She said, yeah, I love them. Which is absolute nonsense. I know Jehovah's Witnesses do not love Catholics. They talk shit on them all the time, especially out in service, especially at the carts. They're like, the first people they mention when somebody brings up child abuse is, well, the Catholic Church is much worse, and everybody has that in their church and whatever. Which of course, my response is going to be, if you're really God's organization, then why would you have any of that in there? Like, shouldn't you be the only one that doesn't? Shouldn't you be clean? Or at least have policies in place to protect the children? Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to keep y'all on this long. I'm really sorry. But I did want to have like a little discussion, after watching that footage, and I'm glad that we did. You all left some really, valid comments, and it's good to see you too, Linda James. I appreciated what you had to say, and it's also nice to learn about that there are fellow autistic people in the community. It's good because, like, people think of autistic people as being like non-functioning and needing, very intense support services, and that's really one end of the spectrum. There are those of us who are able to, to live on our own and stuff, and people don't even realize that we're autistic. They just think we're a little weird, or that we're quirky or something, or whatever. But yeah, it's really good to have representation out there of different parts of the spectrum of autism. So I'm always glad to find out about another person. And that's the other thing that's been great about this documentary is people have been reaching out to me and being super glad to have representation for the LGBTQIA+ community. They're like, they love that, and it's mostly people from the community that have been reaching out and saying, that the story, like, it really struck them. It really resonated with them, and it felt like their own story, or that they were glad to see another one of us on there. And because we don't have a ton of representation in documentaries yet. This is, in Ex-JW documentaries and stuff. So like this is good. It's a good thing, and I'm really glad that they listened to me and they kept all that stuff in. Because it means a lot, and it really does make your experience different as a Jehovah's Witness. If you're LGBTQIA+, it really does make it different. Harder in some senses. And some point very soon, I will be making a video talking about the thing that I did not want to talk about in the documentary. And I did talk to the producers about this. There was one subject I really didn't want to talk about in the documentary. And it's funny because a lot of people say my story doesn't fit. Well, not a lot of people. A few people have been saying my story does not fit in the documentary. And I think they mean that it's because it's not child abuse related. It is child abuse related, by the way. My mom was a child bride. My dad was 21 and my mom was 14. So that's, in my opinion, that fits. But what they don't know, the people that are saying this, is that I am a victim of CSA. And I've not really talked about that in detail on my channel. I may have alluded to it here and there, but I've not really talked about it in detail because I didn't want that to be at the forefront of my activism. I didn't want my activism to be about me. Because, I thought my mother deserved, to have her memory solidified. I thought my mother deserved to be remembered. And I wanted everything as much as possible to focus on her memory. But soon I will be talking about it, opening up about it. So yeah, more than people realize. My story does fit in the documentary. Let's see here. Sorry for the heavy tone there before I'm heading off. JWs have been taught to hate Catholics since Rutherford's snare and a racket placard protests in front of churches in the 1930s. Yep. I love you and hope that you keep taking care of yourself. I'm doing my best. I've actually been doing a lot more of that, like in the past couple of years. Like, really going for it. Like, getting all the mental health help that I need. Getting all the medical help I need. Taking care of every part of myself as much as I can. Even therapy, which I used to think that therapy couldn't help me, but I was wrong. Therapy can help me. I just needed to find the right therapist. And I found one, so that's fantastic. I was quite surprised. Oh, and thank you, by the way. Sorry. I was quite surprised when I was diagnosed about 6 years ago, but you're right. There is a spectrum regarding autism. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. People think, people hear autism and they're like, well, you don't seem like you have autism. And it's like, well, probably not, because a lot of autistic people, on our side of the spectrum, we learn to mask over the years. We learn how to hide those things that make us stand out as not fitting in or being different in that respect. But, there are things that are still noticeable, like socializing is still tricky for me. The researchers and producers knew your story was important. Yeah, originally the director who reached out to me after a friend recommended me in a thread on another friend's page, the director who ended up reaching out to me originally just wanted somebody who was from the LGBTQIA+ community, and I think the story they were hoping to get was that it was because of that I had issues in the cult, and then I got kicked out or something like that. I think that's what they were originally going to go for. But then when I told them about my story, with, you know, with my mother and what happened with my grandmother, and it's not even really my story, it's my mom's story. When I told them my mom's story, they really, they were really moved by that, and they really wanted to put the focus on that instead. And so they did, and I'm really glad that they did. I'm really glad I got that opportunity. Sorry, that was my cat. Yeah. Also, Chester was hiding under the bed the whole time that the film crew was there, so he didn't get to be in the documentary. Sorry, Chester. You could have been in the documentary, Chester. You could have been an Ex-JW cat star. Just kidding. Just picking on him. But yeah, they felt it was important. I felt it was important. Now, I'm not saying my story is like more important than anybody else's. In fact, I don't think my story is unique, which is why I thought it was important to share, which is why I do this stuff on YouTube, is because I know that it's very common, which is horrible. This happens to a lot of people. So it's not that my story is unique. It's that it's common that makes it important for me to share with people. I was sad about your mother's young marriage. I married at 17 to run away from the cult. That's really awful. I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I know that, I don't know if your marriage ended up being good or not, but it's horrible that you had to make that kind of choice. I'm just guessing, but I dare say the pushback you are receiving at this time with your mother's story has to do with you being trans and gay. 70% of trans peeps are attracted to the same sex before trans. Yeah, well, I mean, I was a little confused before I came out as trans and before I got to start transitioning. I used to identify as bisexual, and the truth is, I'm asexual, but I'm gay as in, like, I am romantically attracted to other masculine people, cis men and transmasculine non-binary people. But, like, before, I had pretty much exclusively dated men, only one woman, and it was actually during that time that I realized that wasn't for me, being in a relationship with a woman. And I think the reason I was confused is because I knew I was gay. Even back then, I felt like, always throughout my life, I felt like I sounded like a gay guy in my head. But it didn't make sense, like, because, I was presenting as a woman and all that stuff. So I was like, I feel gay. So that maybe I like women. So, that's why I tried that out, and it did not work out for me or the other person, which I feel bad about. I was right, though. I'm gay, just not that kind of gay. Because I didn't realize that the reason I felt gay is because I'm just a gay guy. So wrong kind of gay, wrong flavor of gay, but close. I was close. But yeah, I mean, I get a little bit of pushback because of that. Yeah, I've had a lot of people misgendering me on various places on the internet, and being not very nice about it and acting like, like that stuff wasn't important. But I know it was important to the LGBTQIA plus Ex-JW community, because they have been telling me so. They've been reaching out a lot, that it meant a lot to them. And that's good. I'm glad it did. But yeah, I was going to clear something up that about my mom being married at 14 and having me at 15. Some people I've seen on the internet have been saying that she was forced to marry at that age because she was pregnant. That's not true. She got married at 14 and was married before I was conceived. So I just wanted to clear that up. My mom was not forced to get married because she was pregnant with me. She was forced, I guess she was coerced into getting married at 14 because the elders thought that if she didn't get married to my 21-year-old dad, because they were dating, I don't even know why they were allowed to date, actually, but that if she didn't get married with my dad, that they were going to have premarital sex. That she was going to commit fornication. And it was really gross because it was all put on her. Like, she was going to be the one to do that, like, to initiate it, and it was going to be her fault. Like, it's not like it's the 21-year-old man's fault. But yeah. So yeah, that's why my grandmother signed the legal papers for my mom to get married at that age. And then after they were married, very soon after they were married, I was conceived. So I'm not a bastard. Congratulations to me, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to clear that up because, like I said, I saw some people, very outraged at the fact that my mother was forced to, quote unquote, forced to marry my dad because she was pregnant, and that it had something to do with her not being able to get an abortion. That's not the case at all. My mother was very against abortion, probably because of the JW teachings and stuff. Sorry, gotta show this comment here, because YouTube hit it. I think, there it goes. Yeah, she wasn't forced to marry my dad because of anything to do with abortions or whatever, or being pregnant. My mom was against abortions because of the JW teachings, I think. She even wrote poetry about it. And she even wrote an article in the newspaper when she was, I think, 15 or 16, about me and how she was glad that she kept me, and that she thinks there need to be more resources for pregnant teenagers, for young teen parents. And she called me the sugar in her life in that article. I'll share it someday. I still have a copy of it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting pushed back for probably a little bit for the LGBTQIA plus thing. But that's fine. I'll take it. They can be. I'm getting, honestly, Linda James, honestly, truth be told, I don't think it's because of the LGBTQIA plus thing. I really think the most of the pushback I'm getting is because of the Kingdom Hall protest. Because a lot of the criticism I've been getting has nothing to do with me being trans. It's always, oh well, I don't know why they showed that, because that's bad, and it's going to make people want to do it, and it's also Jehovah's Witnesses, or if they see this, are going to think that we're jerks, and that stuff doesn't work anyway. It doesn't wake anybody up, and blah 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 blah, and yeah. And that's fine, they're entitled to their opinion, but they're still wrong. It does work, it wakes people up. It doesn't wake everybody up, but nothing does. There's no one method that's going to wake everybody up, because if there were, we would be doing it, wouldn't we? But yeah. Now, there could be some people that are hiding behind that, outrage that I did a Kingdom Hall protest. There could be some people hiding behind that who are actually transphobic or homophobic. That's possible. I hope not. I hope that if you're going to be transphobic or homophobic, that you at least, have the guts to just be honest about it, because I would respect you more if you just said, hey, I don't like trans people, or I don't like gay people, and I think it's stupid that they put one of you in the documentary. It ruined it. Like, I would at least respect you if you were being honest about it, but I can't respect hiding behind something and pretending like you're outraged about something else to cover for the fact that you just don't like me because I'm gay and trans. But yeah, whatever. If you happen to see, and this is the second time I'm asking this in a stream, but you don't have to do it, but like, if you can, if you happen to see anybody misgender me in a comment, because I find it really hard to deal with these people, and I don't like to respond to them anyway, just because then they think, they think that they deserve a response to their argument after they just misgendered me intentionally or whatever. If you see somebody intentionally being malicious and misgendering me, if you don't mind, please maybe correct them if you could. I do correct people myself that are obviously well-meaning. Like, I've been issuing a couple of corrections, like when I see somebody go, "Oh, you have some, that's a great protest. What a protest! That's a great protest. What a brave lady, And I'll go in there and I'll be like, "Thank you for your sentiments. I really appreciate them. I'm not a woman though." And I do appreciate the sentiments. I know that they're not being malicious, so that doesn't bother me, and I do correct them on that. And usually they're very nice about it, and they'll either edit their comment or they'll apologize or whatever, and it's all good. Like, it's an honest mistake. I sound like Mickey Mouse in some of those clips, so I don't blame them if they're seeing that. And now, if they've seen the documentary, I'm kind of confused as to how they don't know that I don't identify as a woman, because like I say that I came out as a man in the documentary, but maybe they forgot. I don't know. But I give them the benefit of the doubt, as long as they're obviously not trying to maliciously misgender me, But it's the ones that are doing it to be jerks that I'm just like, it stresses me out to even consider responding to them, because I don't want to start an argument or let them yell at me a bunch. And I don't usually delete comments that are intentionally malicious either. Like, if somebody wants to come on my page and say I'm an asshole or whatever, or that I'm the devil, or that I should be beheaded, I've had comments like that, all those things, by the way. If somebody wants to come and leave a nasty comment, I'll leave it there. Not because I like it or anything, but because if you're going to be nasty to me, I'm going to make sure everybody sees it. Everybody gets to see that you're a dick. And that's fine. Go for it. If you want to be an asshole and embarrass yourself in public, go for it. I probably won't respond to you if you say stuff like that, but, sometimes other people do. I've seen other people get after people for saying nasty stuff, and I appreciate that. You don't have to do that, but I really appreciate that, that you stick up for me. It means a lot. Because all my life I mostly experienced bullying where I wasn't, defended in any way. People didn't stick up for me. Including in the cult. Yeah. Let's see here. They are some sick perverts, yep. Okay, Kingdom Hall protests can be considered aggressive activism. I don't consider them aggressive. I can only speak for my own protests, but I don't consider what I do to be aggressive. Other activists might go in there and, rile people up and use a bunch of swear words and be mean and stuff and whatever. They might go in there and be mean-spirited about stuff. I don't know, because I haven't seen every protest ever by every activist, but me personally, I make it a point not to be like that. So I really disagree with anybody who says that what I do, what I do, is aggressive activism. I also don't like the term aggressive activism anyway, because, again, it's just there to stigmatize people who take direct action against the cult. Kind of like how apostate is meant to stigmatize, people who leave for valid reasons. It's meant to demonize you. And if anything, I consider what people think is aggressive activism, I consider to be outraged activism, because you are outraged. Now, I don't do anything, like I said, I don't do anything violent, and I'm not a mean person when I do this stuff. I think the meanest thing I've said at a Kingdom Hall I was already outside of the Kingdom Hall, and I was only talking to the thug elders, I think I called them child molester protectors. I mean, it's not the nicest way to phrase it, but... And I've only done that once. And there is one time that I was talking at a cart that I still, to this day, regret, and I even apologized for it back in the day when I did it, for the way I handled myself, but where I got kind of combative with them at a cart. You know, I told them that I was being a little not very nice, and we ran them off. And that was because I was really pissed off that after I had already dispensed with them, like after I had already made them pack up their stuff and leave, they set themselves back up right around the corner from where we originally were. They thought I wouldn't notice, and I was like, they have some nerve. How dare they? And I was like, not in my town. So I went over there, I told them that, you know, all this kinds of stuff, and, you know, eventually got them to leave again. And I was yelling at them as they were leaving. I told them, call the police on pedophiles. So that was pretty aggressive, and I apologized for that, and I still apologize for that to this day. I should have remained more composed. There was no need for me to get like that and raise my voice and stuff. But I don't do that anymore. Like, and that was only one time that I did that. So, you know, you live and you learn. And I think everybody's allowed one screw up at least. You know, like they say on Family Guy, everybody gets one. That's what Spider-Man says. Everybody gets one. Tell him, Peter. Apparently everybody gets one. My reasoning behind my guess is about how much anti-trans laws are being pushed and passed at this time. So there has been a lot of trans pushback within politics. Yeah, no, I believe that. So yeah, like I said, it's possible that people are hiding behind, you know, the Kingdom Hall protest stuff, being angry about that when they really just don't like me because I'm trans. It could be that. But regardless, like I said, I'll take it. You know, I'll take all the pushback. You know, it's part of it comes with the territory. And I accept that. I have always accepted criticism of any kind, and, you know, I take a fair amount of harassment in the comments sections on my protests. You know, usually Jehovah's Witnesses, but sometimes people that just think I'm a jerk, that are from other religions that just think I'm a jerk. That's fine. And then, of course, I've taken my fair, and I think you know about this, Linda James, my fair amount of harassment from within the Ex-JW community as well. But, like I said, I'm not here to do any drama stuff or any infighting kind of crap, so, you know, I'll just take it in stride. You know, somebody wants to make hate videos and stuff about me. I mean, it's their right to do it if they want. You know, as long as they're not like doxing me or something, because that is actually illegal. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever. Like I said, comes with the territory. I'm just here to protest Kingdom Halls and do other forms of activism, and, you know, help take down the cult and help people wake up and get out. That's what I'm here for. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but Zeb hit me up during the premiere of the documentary. He hit me up and he was asking me, "Is this the one that you're in?" And I was like, "Yep." And he said he was like, he told me a little bit about what he was doing. You know, that he's doing some important work right now, and I would give details, but I'm going to wait for him to mention that if he wants to publicly. I'm super excited for what he's doing. Like, he's doing some really important stuff. So hopefully he will come back and talk about that soon in the near future. But yeah. Alright, I think I have talked everybody's ears off, so I'm really sorry about that. I will be uploading this either tonight or tomorrow, the clip of literally just the video of my grandmother. and me at the door, just so that people can have so that it can be by itself and not in this long ass stream. And then tomorrow I'll be putting up the full Kingdom Hall protest footage from the documentary, and over the next few days I'll be putting up the stuff. I'll be putting up the stuff from the behind the scenes footage, and then I will get to the memorial stuff and the books, the Bible study stuff. There's a lot. There's so much coming. It's not even funny. Anyway, I'm glad everybody's doing well. And if you're not, I hope you will be doing well soon. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to everything and for stopping by and, you know, chatting with me and everything. I really appreciate it. It's good to see some old faces, good to see some new faces. And yeah, please make sure to take care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you soon.